Hello. Welcome to another episode of Speak Your Piece. I am your host, Ronnie Q. And today we're going to do a sort of a split part sort of subject matter. I'm going to revisit the one subject I was talking about, abuse and how it's not reported amongst men, uh, and how it affects those who have experienced it and who went through it, and how it is always being silenced or set under, set to the side or set as a non sequitur. But first, I'd like to discuss something that a lot of us are going through at the moment. Right now, we are all experiencing the holiday sort of anxiety and sort of the holiday depression and the holiday stresses. As we grow closer and closer to the holidays, some of us tend to go back into certain memories and certain aspects of family conflicts and family emotional strifes, or some type of instability during a season where everything seems to just fall apart or gets really, really traumatizing. A lot of times, a lot of us will bring up things from childhood or from when we were teenagers or adolescents or in between that, which sometimes family members tend to get really dismissive about that because a lot of times I think they want us to either forgive and forget or just forget, period. A lot of times it's not that easy to move on from because a lot of that emotional stress and that emotional traumatization is hard to reconcile with. I mean, some people say if you went through it as a child, you should be adult enough to either evolve from that or grow from that. Some people can't do that. It's not as that easy for them because maybe they weren't taught that, or maybe their mindset isn't healthy enough to do so. So they hold on to that childhood trauma almost into their later and latter years, to the point of where they can't even just have a discussion without going, well, when I was a kid, A, B, C, and D happened to me, and nobody helped me out. Well, here's what I'm going to do today. Anything that you have been through, anything that you have experienced as a child, as an adolescent, as a teenager, or as a young adult that has been, basically around the holidays or experienced during the holidays, and how it has affected you, I want to hear about it. I want to know about it. I want to understand. I want to understand. I want to see if we can find a way to find the way to bridge the gap and open a wide discussion of how we can heal from that. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to try to trauma bond with you. I just want to help you get a better experience in how to handle what it is that a lot of us have gone through, myself included. I'm not just trying to give you opinion. I mean, if I haven't experienced it, I don't want to think it's just an opinion or something that I don't have, at some, at some place in my life where I have not experienced the same thing. Because experience is the one thing that we all have in common. You can't tell someone how to live an experience, to understand experience, unless you've already been through it yourself. You have to have that previous or process of the experience. And I think a lot of times people are missing that. And oftentimes it gets to the point where so many of us are so far, into the feeling or into the emotion, and we're so jaded by this that we sometimes just dismiss ourselves from family functions, get togethers, group meetings, whatever else, because that trauma still lives with us and we carry it that long. And I think that a lot of times it's not being discussed. And then when it is discussed, it's more of a finger pointing contest or a trauma war or trauma awards or something, like who can out trauma the other, instead of addressing the issue that's supposed to help. So I'd like to hear what you have to say. Like I said, like, subscribe, give me your comments. I'd like to hear that. Give me your feedback. Tell me what you want to talk about as far as that subject. Now, moving on to the subject that we talked discussed before, a man and abuse and how it's being hidden from the general public has been hidden from the overall consensus of is it a thing or is it not a thing. A lot of times people will dismiss it, like I said before, because men aren't supposed to have this kind of emotional trauma. We're supposed to be the strength, the pillars, the rock. But a lot of times men suffer in silence. I know you've heard it time and time again. I know you've heard it quoted for time and time. Men suffer in silence. No one knows what's going on because we're not equipped at certain times in our lives on how to handle that kind of trauma. Because we think that it's embarrassing. We're ashamed to admit it, myself included. I've been through it. I've experienced it. I know what it feels like. I know what it's like to have your voice go unheard. I know what it's like to have your opinion silenced. I know what it's like to have the physical body being, put into a sort of physical bombardment of all types of negativities. I know what it's like to have someone speak to you in such a way that it poisons your very thought processes of how to handle another relationship. Did it carry over into other relationships? Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But with me, I had to process a long time and stop blaming myself for something that another person couldn't control and how they saw things. I'm not saying I was, completely a complete innocence in everything, but what I'm saying is when I didn't do anything, I lost all self-respect. I lost all respect from family members. I lost all respect from even, my, siblings and, everything. It just felt so disconnected and so harmful that I didn't know how to handle that. So, like I said, open discussion, comment, like, subscribe. I would love to hear what you have to say and what you have experienced. And I want to go deep into it. I want depth. I want substance. I want some type of tangibility of how you're going through it, how you're handling it. This way we can help not only get through to one another what we need, but to heal from it. Okay? So that was a two-part. And I know it's kind of short, but, time's limited, and I got to try my best to keep this thing short and sweet so I can, get more time out of this. And we all want to do better. So again, this has been Ronnie Q. This has been Speak Your Peace. Peace, love, and hair grease. See y'all.